Someone is super needy. Say hello. She's very needy. Given her bed right at my feet. We'll see if it works. She's feeling, I don't know, left out, despite the fact that we just took a 3-hour nap. I'm not winning, you guys. Also, I feel like my lighting is completely off. I wonder if I should go turn that off. All right, let's go for it. The color's better. That'll work for me. Hello and welcome to The Knitted Bean. My name is Echo and I will be your host today. The Knitted Bean is a nitty, nerdy, and sometimes sweary podcast with a side order of fandom or whatever other media I would like at the end. I am coming to you from Montana, where I live with my spouse and our Boston Terrier Legnut, who is being very distracting and needy today. But we're gonna make it through it anyway because I've already recorded half of this once and got interrupted. So I started recording this on Friday. It's now Monday, and my husband came home when I was like halfway through, and you guys know that I cannot successfully record with another person awake in the house. So I scrapped that and we're gonna do this again. I'm starting out with a Diet Coke because that's what I had, but honestly it's cold and I'm probably gonna go make tea at some point. It's been a long time. I think I've officially earned myself the title, The Inconsistent Podcaster, and I really appreciate that you guys stick with me through that. If you're new here, don't expect me to upload every 2 weeks. Apparently it's just not gonna happen anymore. There for a while I could pull it off, but it's, you know, maybe a year or whatever from now, life will mellow back out and I'll be back there. But that's not where I'm at right now, and I'm okay with that. And it seems like you guys are okay with that too, so I really appreciate it. So if you're coming back, thank you very much for coming back and spending your time with me. I super appreciate it for sure. If you're brand new, this is what you get. It is unabashedly real. I haven't been up to very much in the, month or two since I've podcasted last, other than just trying to make it to all my doctor's appointments, all my labs, get all of my meds changed, and that has like eaten up my entire life. For those of you who haven't been here, excuse me, I have been sick for a very long time, but I was recently finally given an actual diagnosis after like 4 years of a more rare type of heart failure, and so it is also unfortunately a kind of heart failure that is more difficult to treat. So I have been going and getting my labs done like every week and then changing my meds every week based on that, to try and just get some of the excess fluid that had built up in my body off. Like probably this summer sometime, when I finally was just like, I'm literally gonna die if we don't fix this. I had like 26 pounds of extra fluid on or more. So I'm definitely not that bad anymore, but I can tell day to day, beginning of the week to the end of the week, you know, if I've put on 5 or 6 or 10 pounds in fluid significantly. So that is what I've been up to. However, I have not stopped knitting. I have been knitting up a storm. I just haven't had the time or the mental health, frankly, to sit down and podcast. So, and I say that, I don't mean that like I'm not depressed about having we're about to have a stuffed unicorn brought in here. I can hear it being eviscerated out there. So if you get a squeak, sorry. I'm not depressed about like having heart failure or anything like that. If anything, I'm really relieved to finally have a diagnosis. More just like the day-to-day mental health stress of like trying to manage a chronic illness, trying to apply for and go through the whole long, years-long process of getting on disability and things like that, and the financial stresses that come with that. So that said, I do have a ton to show you. And while he is gonna go to the gym today after work, so I do have a bit more time. It is already like probably pushing 4. 3:30 still. I only have a couple hours to get this done. So let's get this show on the road. Pull up my podcast notes real quick and we will go from there. If you are looking for me on the internet, you can find me on Instagram, Ko-Fi, and Ravelry as The Knitted Bean, or you can email me at knittedbean@gmail.com. That came out really but I think you got it. So it's cold outside. On Friday when I was going to record this, it was pretty nice. It said that it was like 37 degrees, which is, I don't know, 1 or 2 Celsius, a little bit above 0 Celsius. I don't know what it is today, but it's not that. We have been getting news stories that we're going to get a big winter storm with, you know, 1 foot or more of snow. And I just saw something that said like winter weather is gonna bring wild things from 1 foot of snow, blizzards to tornadoes. And I feel like that has got to be a fear-mongering line, because while we do get tornadoes, we don't get them in the winter. So let's be realistic. Needless to say, it is definitely cold out there, and it is currently snowing just a little bit, just a tiny little. And as you can tell by my background not being very well lit, it is not sunny. It is full cloud cover. Out of curiosity, let's see what the temperature actually is. 18 degrees, feels like 6, which was something like -8, feels like -15 Celsius. So, decently below freezing. Honestly, not quite as cold as I thought it was. I thought it would be more like 6. For real 6. But that's because, you know, that's what it feels like, and that is an accurate interpretation. If you don't know about wind chill, don't move to Montana. You will literally lose your toes. A little bit of admin. If you are waiting for a prize from me, it has been shipped. You should either have it or be having it shortly. We are going to have another giveaway today. And we have a discount code for Naughty Knitting Sacks, which I will put down here. That is Bean15. That gets you 15% off at Katie's shop. Go check her stuff out. I love it. It's very well made and hilarious. Not everything is naughty if that's not your jam. So like I said, I have been knitting a lot. I wanted to look at where I was at on my Make 9. I have made most of the things on my Make 9. I will pop my little square that I made up here. I'm not gonna make 12 pairs of socks. There's no way. Which is funny because last year I think I made like 24 pairs of socks. So I thought 12 would be a super easy number to hit, but for whatever reason this year I was all about the garments and I didn't make any socks, and my sock stash shows that. I need to make some for myself. I bet you that I make 6-ish or around there. I'm making a bunch for Christmas, which always kind of boosts that up. And I don't feel like I have to. I just enjoy making things for people. I did not make it to my Find Your Fade. I'm not sure that I will. I think I talked about this in maybe my last episode or the episode before that. Fit-wise, everybody has talked about how great the Find Your Fade is and all of that, but a lot of the people that I see talking about how great it is are quite a bit smaller than me, and in talking to people who are my size, there's another sweater that they're super happy with that they've faded, which is the Spectre by Joji Locatelli, and I know that Joji Locatelli, not Locatelli, I know that her stuff fits me really well. I've made a lot of it. She is one of my favorite designers, and so I feel really comfortable making it. And I don't know, is that bad that like we at a certain point we kind of like pick our favorite designers and we're like, yes, I can make that from them, and then we maybe don't branch out as much. I have literally made 1.5 Things by Andrea Mowry, who designed the Find Your Fade. I just made a pair of socks by her, and I am most of the way through an Alpenglow. And maybe it's because I had to adjust the sleeves on the Alpenglow that I feel like it's, you know, I feel like I have to do more work on those designs to make it fit for me. But what I'm wearing is an is a Joji Locatelli, and I have adjustments that I would have made on it too. And it's also a round yoke sweater, so maybe it's just round yokes that I would do differently, although I didn't feel like I needed to adjust the stitch ratio front to back on this one. So I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like we do gravitate towards certain people, and Andrea Mowry is a lovely person. You know, I really enjoy watching her. Oh man, I got a frog. I really enjoy watching her. I'll knit if I want to, but I also really enjoy watching Joji's knitting journals. And I don't know why I gravitate towards Joji's designs over Andrea's, but I kind of do. And I feel like I probably won't make the Find Your Fade. I'll probably use the exact same yarn and make a Spectre instead. Sorry, I'm super froggy now. The other thing that was on there was that I wanted to self-design a tank top with a lace top, and I've just totally scrapped that idea. It's not that I can't or that I couldn't, it's that I didn't have the brain space for it. I struggled a lot with brain fog this year. Maybe that will be different next year with, you know, medications to better target and treat what's going on with me, but it just wasn't going to happen this year. And I went ahead and I used some of the yarn for other things that I really wanted, and I'm okay with that. If I decide that I want to do it again at another time, then I'll do it again at another time. But like pretty much everything else on there, I feel like I made the collective shawl, which was, you know, learning brioche. I dyed yarn and made a sweater with it. It's not quite done, but it's pretty close to done, and you'll see that. What all was on there? I don't remember. Let me pull it up. So I feel like I did pretty well with everything else though. I made a collective shawl, which I wanted to do. I wanted to learn brioche. I dyed and then made a sweater with some yarn that was brought to me from Germany, which is not quite done, but it just has the sleeves, and I'm going to count that. I made a V-back tee, which I had been wanting to make forever. That was a bit of a slog. I put together and made a hat with some mohair that I had and gifted that. I made a pavement. I did make a 2-color tee with lace, which was the, shoot, what was that called? I want to call it the mochi. It's not. I'll put the name here. Things that I did not make. I did not make 12 pairs of socks. So it shows me on here that I have 3. I'm definitely going to make at least 2 more. Maybe 3 more, so I might hit 6. And I didn't make another litmus cowl, which is a bit sad. I really wanted to make that. And I do have something that I might use to make that, and I'll show you that in a bit. And then they're so faded. So I mean, I don't feel like I did bad. I'll definitely do one of these for next year. I feel like it kind of helps me organize my thoughts. Like, I throw a lot of things. I throw a ton of things into my favorites, and I'll even throw a lot of things onto my queue of like, yes, I have the yarn for this and I want to make it, because I keep a pretty big stash. And so I feel like it helps me stay on track for like, out of the things that I have yarn for and I want to make, what do I want to do next? I also, I got a sneezy dog. I had recorded a whole set of footage for a handmade wardrobe video. Hi, Lugs. That was not an encouragement to get on my lap, sweetie. She really wants up. You got cold ears? But I just am not happy with it. For one, I had no energy when I did it, so I'm huffing and I'm puffing, and I recorded it over like multiple days in order to try and like squeeze it in. Like, oh, we're gonna record 2 outfits today, we're gonna record 2 outfits the next day, and 2 outfits the next day. And like, I think I was just pushing myself too hard. And I didn't like the way that I arranged the camera and stuff. I still do want to make a handmade wardrobe video to show off all the things that I've sewn and all the things that I've knit and how I wear them together, because I do wear my sewn and knit clothes quite a bit. But it's not going to be that one. I think I'll aim to do that sometime in the beginning of next year. I'm not happy with the footage. So at the end of this week, Hubs is out of school for holiday break, which is going to be, I think he said 2 weeks this year. So I have some sewing and some knitting projects that are for him that I have got to get done this week. Specifically, I have 3 more pairs of boxers to make. I have the cloth for 2 of them, and I'm undecided about what to do for the 3rd. I will posit that to you guys. And then I have 1 sock finished for him that I need to finish the rest of. So I need to get on it. I need to record this, I need to edit it, I need to get it up, and then I need to get going on his gift knits. I also have a hat that I really want to knit for him for his birthday, which is in like the 1st or 2nd week of January, but I'm hoping I can knit that like once he goes back to school. We'll see. I have no idea how long that will take me to knit. So that's where I am at. Chilling at home with a needy dog, trying to coordinate things between doctors and lawyers and knitting, and I just take my knitting with me. So what am I wearing? I finished it, you guys. I do love it. It is large. So this is the Susurrus by Joji Locatelli. I've wanted to make this for 2 years in these colors from Farmer's Daughter Fibers. This is horse belly, held double in Sukapi, held double with Legends of the Little People in Oding, which is this color here, and then Kinnikinnick in Foxy Lady, which is a single. So I collected these yarns for this sweater over a couple of years, 18 months with gift money, because I am not rolling in it like that, and this is an expensive sweater. I needed a lot of yarn to do it. I did end up with maybe like a half or a third of skein, probably more like a third of a skein. Oh dang, left, which I will definitely use for something. I'm not sure what yet. And then I ended up with a whole and a tiny bit, like maybe 10 grams, plus a whole skein of Foxy Lady, which I'm sure I could use at some point, probably in a shawl or something. I'm not huge on using singles in garments, but I mean, they do work good for things like lace. So let me give you a close-up because it's gorgeous. So this is coming out very true to color. The sleeves, as you can see, are super long. Whoa, they are not supposed to be. I don't even think that it's supposed to like have this long of a yoke. It's definitely supposed to have this much ease, like that's how it's shown on the model. And this is where I come to, I should have trusted myself. Remember back when I was knitting the yoke and I said, it feels huge. That's because the yoke was huge. This is not a dig at the pattern at all. This has to do with my body shape. This is also only the first/second. I started them both at the same time. Round yoke sweater I've ever made. So I'm still figuring out like the specifics of them with me. Now with the Alpengo, it told me to knit to a certain length or 2 inches longer than your yoke measurement. So I measured my yoke. With this one, it just gave me row counts. And when I was picking what size to make, I made a size 7, which is 57 3/4 of an inch. This is on gauge, so it is the right size. And I have a 52-inch bust. When I was picking the size, I picked the 57 3/4 size because that gave me almost 6 inches of ease, and the recommended was 4 to 6, and the size smaller would have been less than 4. And I thought about it because I don't usually knit with 6 inches of ease. I think prior to this, the biggest I've ever done was 4 inches of ease for my rocket tee, and that felt pretty big too. So I mean, I was totally happy with it when it got done, but like I wouldn't have wanted it bigger. So but I looked at how it fit on the model, and I looked at how it fit on other people my size, and I thought, no, I really like it. I'm gonna just go for it. I'm gonna trust the pattern. I'm gonna knit it with ease. And I shouldn't have. I should have trusted myself, which is that I usually like between 0 and 2 inches of positive ease. I'm not a big baggy sweater girl because I'm very chesty, but then I have a thinner waist. So I have boobs, and I mean, I have quite the gut right now because I'm kind of bloated. But if you tuck in my back, the difference between my chest and my natural waist measurement is my natural waist is 45 when I'm not bloated, and my chest is 57, so 7 inches. So it's quite a bit. And that means that what is 6 inches of ease at my chest is 13 inches of ease at my waist, and that is too much. So if I had like really thought about that and trusted myself, I think what I might have done is knit the yoke to be a size 6 and then added so that it would have stopped a whole band earlier, because this was the first size that went 1 band longer. So it would have stopped a whole band earlier and then added some stitches underneath to put it between a 6 and a 7 for the body, so that I would have had, you know, maybe like 2 inches of ease at the chest and like 7 inches of ease, or, you know, what would that be, 9 inches of ease at the waist instead. That would have meant that my sleeves, if this was actually up here where it should have been, then my sleeves would have come out the right length, right? They were supposed to be 3/4 length sleeves like this. They didn't come out that way because this yoke is so long. So that's something to keep in mind if you want to knit this and you are really chesty, but you're not super broad shouldered and you're not super wide waisted, is that maybe sizing down is a good option, or sizing down the yoke and then going with the regular size on the body, whatever. So that said, I'm totally happy with it. Obviously I wear it a lot. This has been worn at least 10 times in the last month, so it's not keeping me from wearing it. I roll up the sleeves, which is a bit of a bummer that you don't see the horse belly as much, but you do still see it on the hem and the collar. I could rip back to here and knit the sleeve cuff here, and that would be the right length, and that would be a lot easier to do now that I have a size 5 9-inch circular. But let's be honest, I just can't be asked to do that because it's not keeping me from wearing it. If this were something where I worn it for 2 years and I finished it and I didn't like it and I wasn't wearing it, then I would absolutely tear those cuffs back, reknit them, or consider reknitting the bottom half of the sweater. But not gonna lie, this is X number of rows of lace and X number of rows of either single mohair or single series alpaca. I used alpaca because I like it better than mohair. And both of those are very slow for me. This took me a while. I knit it during the Hohi Fall Knit Along, and it took me 2.5 months out of the 3 months that went on. And that's pretty long for me for a sweater. So I would have to not like it in order to go back and reknit the whole thing. Okay, I just went out and made myself a pistachio mocha in my Dirty Merits mug, and I was wrong. She was not going to bring us the unicorn. She was going to eviscerate the unicorn. There is fluff all over my living room. And you're proud of yourself, aren't you? Yes, I am. Proud hunter of unicorns, right here. Proud hunter of unicorns. And unicorn has lasted you a while, hasn't it? You don't have the teeth that you used to. She used to be able to just annihilate a toy in like 5 minutes if it was a stuffy and had a squeaker. But in her middle-agedness, being a puppy mill mama, she does not have nearly as many teeth as she used to. So she came to us with about half of her teeth, and unfortunately when you don't have a lot of teeth left, they just start to like tip and lean. Well, I was gonna set you down. Could you? Usually she's pretty good about not snagging me, but she's like, I'm gonna stay. I have a nice blanket right at my feet for you. It'll be fine. She's like, no, no, no. Yes, yes, yes. There you go. Yeah, they start to tip and lean and you start to lose them, huh? That's how it works. So that is what I'm wearing. I love it. I've been wearing it a lot. The other thing about it is with the alpaca is it's not too hot. It's not too cold. I can wear it indoors right now. It is 68 degrees in here and I am content. I could also walk outside at 17, unroll my sleeves, be totally fine to like go out, scrape my car and get inside. It's great. It's like the ultimate temperature control, I guess. It's really nice. So that is finished object numero uno. Let's get moving. Finished object number 2. So this year I got, again, Hannah from A Corner of Craft, I got the Chromatic Yarns Advent Calendar, which is an advent calendar. All the yarn that she dyes is based off of D&D, and it's an advent calendar that is D&D themed, and last year it came with dice. This year it's coming with dice again. Love it. Adored her colors. I used them in my collective shawl. I used them to make a litmus cowl. I have used them in socks. I've used them in just a bunch of stuff. I didn't do like one big project with them. So this year I do want to do one big project with them, and in her Discord server to get ready for this year's Advent, she ran an Advents of December's Past Crochet and Knit Along, which I decided that I would just jump into for giggles because I still had, I think, like 10 full minis left over, and about 6 or 7 of them really matched in this nice fade type thing that, I mean, they were not the same colors. It was not a faded Advent, just I put them together in a fade that I liked. I can even pop a picture of it up here. It was like pinks into oranges into purples with a confetti color at the front. And with that, I made this. It's coming out super orange in the middle. It's not really that orange, but that's a little, yeah, it's coming out super orange. That's a little better. I made this super cool Thursday sweater, which is by Beta Jezik, and is available for free on the Hedgehog Fibers website. And there are a ton of free patterns on there. They're really good, you guys. I made it for my dog for Lugs because this is what I do instead of dog sweaters, is I either buy toddler shirts in like a size 1 or 2T, so like 12 months to 2T, or I make them. It fits her wonderfully. I will also put a picture of her cute little ass up here in it. She has not gotten it because it is for Christmas, and my in-laws are kind of like those people that are like judgy if you don't have something to open on Christmas for everybody, including the dog. And I'm like, I would have let the dog wear it right now, but we need something for her to open at their house, so this is it. And if I give it to her now and she accidentally snags it, then I would be sad. I loved the fade on this so much that before I even started opening this year's advent, I was like, I'm gonna do the same thing, but in me size. Now, the Thursday sweater only goes up to a 4-year-old, I think, from like 0 to 6 months to 4 years old, which, by the way, will 100% be making this again for gifts. So I looked for a DK weight sweater that had a fit that I liked, and then I will just hold the yarns double, 2 fingerings double in the fade style from that. And I decided to go with a Comfy Cozy Raglan by Jessie Maid. I've made one of her things before, and I love the like various different options that she gives you as far as like arms and waist and this and that. And her waist shaping fits me really well because it's very like bombshell blonde waist shaping. And of course I know how to add that to anything I want. But you know what? Sometimes it's just easier to just be able to read a pattern. So I am gonna do that with my advent. And I was like, I'm gonna wait until Christmas and cast on at Christmas. I'll use the main color because you get a full skein. I'll use that for the cuff, the collar, and the hem, because I wanted to be able to put them in an order because it's not a faded advent. It never is. But I wanted to be able to arrange them in a fade kind of for me. And hi, Legs. Hi. Hi. Hello. You are so needy. I'm trying to record. Do not just sit at my feet. She's like, absolutely not, Mom. Ow. Ow. So I decided to wait. Well, then as I'm opening it, I'm like, I'm getting a lot of this one color in the beginning, and then it switched to another color, and I was like, okay. And I saw on her Vlogmas that she did package them like in groups of colors, like, you know, like all the reds, all the blues, all the greens, so on and so forth. And so I was like, oh, I could have just cast on. Like, I have full skeins of other yarn from her that I could have used for the cuff and whatnot, but too late now. Plus I've embroiled myself in a test knit, so not gonna happen. But I am still going to cast it on Christmas Day while I'm at my in-laws, because I need something to zen while I'm at the in-laws for the holidays. They are bickerers, and I am not somebody who enjoys bickering. All right, next up. It's like been the months of knit-alongs for me. Like, I see a knit-along and I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. These are the Andrea Mowry Bear Paw Socks. This is the first Andrea Mowry pattern I have ever actually completed because I'm still working on my Alpenglow. And I love them. They're nice and squishy and super thick. And part of that is the pattern. Part of that is the yarns that I chose for these. I do have Bear Paw Sock, the base, which is intended to be knitted in my stash. I could have used it, but I decided that I was going to use some leftover alpaca socks from my husband's sweater that I'm still using up, and I still have some left. This stuff goes forever. I just keep putting it in more and more things. And then this green is the Eventide base from Undercover Otter, which I think is or was a exclusive to Stephen and Penelope in Amsterdam. And it's a silk yak merino and then an alpaca merino. So these are like literal butter. Literal butter, you guys. And they smell really good because I washed them in my Wool & Co. wool soap. These are going to be a gift for my friend, and the only drawback that I have about them is they're long. I think that's the Flegel heel. This is the third time I've done a Flegel heel, and I feel like it always comes out long when I do a Flegel heel. Like, I feel like, you know, they tell you to wait, and when you're going toe up, like, knit so far, leave this much room, and then start your gusset and your heel. And I feel like I just need to shorten that amount that I knit by like a 1/2 inch, which on the second Flegel heel pattern that I used, I did. I haven't tried it on the person, but I think it will work better that way. I'm not the only person who said they came out long. Actually, almost all the podcasters that I have seen who knit a pair have said they came out long the first time. So I really think that's just a side effect almost of the Flegel heel, and that in the future, anytime I'm knitting a Flegel heel, I am going to, instead of going, you know, whatever the recommended 3 inches or 2.5 inches, I'm gonna go 3.5 inches or 3 inches before my desired length, and then start it. That said, they're gonna be house socks. They're still gonna fit perfectly fine. They're not like 1.5 inches too long like some people's were. They're just like a 1/2 inch too long. I adore them, and I totally would make myself a pair, but I told my husband that I would make him a pair first, so that I might make him a pair for his birthday. Let's see, next up, Lacey, if you're watching, look away unless you want to see kiddo socks. So another gift knit that I did that like I said, I don't feel like I have to gift knit for people. I just really enjoy it. And so I have a friend, and I had offered to gift knit socks for her family for Christmas. So her wife, and their kid. And you guys, look at these. If you were a little kid, would you not want sparkly, like primary neon yellow socks? It's so hard to get the sparkle to show up. It kind of shows up as like that white color, but these are the Magic Heel socks, and I will put who they're by down here. I will say I'm not a fan of having to knit a heel for 3 or 4 or 5 inches. And I don't love the way that they look. They're definitely like a tube sock, right? So when you put them on a blocker, which I don't have one handy in the right size, or I would show you. Actually, hang on, I'll just grab one. Okay, so this is what I don't like about them. When you put them on a blocker, you're gonna get like a couple little wrinkles up here eventually. Like at this angle, it's not too bad, but like the more that a kid bends their foot straight, the more wrinkled that it's gonna get, okay? Now, I understand that all tube socks are like that, and that's just a feature of a tube sock, and it probably isn't gonna bother anybody. It's just an aesthetic thing, and it itches my brain in the wrong way. So, that said, things that I do love about the Magic Heel sock, kids' feet grow, and you really want to knit a nice sock, and then in 6 months it doesn't fit anymore, because I don't. And this is a way for me to be able to send a sock to a kid that between the time the measurement on the foot was taken and the time they open them on Christmas, I'm guaranteed they'll still fit. I'm guaranteed they'll still fit probably next year at Christmas if they don't have a hole yet. And Mom's a knitter, so she could possibly darn them if they do. Anyway, love it. Love the colors. This is Sheepyshire Wildflowers. And then the Super Neon is an Undercover Otter that I had. I think... Oh no, I lied. One more. finished object, which I've already sent off in the mail, was the Celia sweater, which I'll pop up here. This was made in some Mountain Colors yarn that my friend dyed. We went to Mountain Colors, the yarn studio in, I want to say Corvallis, and I feel like that's wrong because I'm thinking Corvallis, Oregon, but then I remember thinking the town that it's in has the name of a town in Oregon, so maybe it is Corvallis. Montana, we went over there. It's on the eastern side of Montana. And we did a dye day for my birthday where we went in and we dyed yarn. She dyed 2 skeins, I dyed 2 skeins in a sock blank. Boop. This is the one that I dyed. It was so much fun. So she dyed fingering tweed as well, and then she left it with me and I said, I will knit you stuff for your baby niece. So the first thing that I knit was this textured sweater. It was actually a DK weight sweater, and this is fingering weight, and I wanted to hold it single, so I just did the math. And I know that there are designers out there for whom that annoys, and there are designers out there for whom they're like, do it. And I fall into the camp of, I paid for the pattern, I can do whatever the hell I want for my personal use. So if I'm capable of doing the math and I want to make it in a different way, and I know that it will look differently in a different way, and I take responsibility for that, I can do it. Now, I should not email the designer and be like, how do I make your DK weight pattern in fingering weight? I should not email the designer and be like, I made your DK weight pattern in fingering weight and I don't like how it looks this way. But if you're going to take responsibility for your own actions and it's just for your personal use, go for it. So I did the math until I came out with what would ultimately be a size about an 18 months, so 1 to 2 years. And I did that, the baby was born in winter, I did that so that they could wear it both next year and the year after, theoretically. I knit the sleeves kind of in the middle of the two so that they can cuff them up for the first year and they'll be like bracelet length for the second year. I love that type of texture, that just like, I can't think of what it's called. I want to say it's seed stitch or moss stitch, but you never know between the two, between American and UK terms. Just that like knit a row, river row, and like you alternate it in a certain path. I don't even remember right now. I love it. It's only got it on the front. The back is plain, the arms are plain. It has this cute little rolled like neck that I probably wouldn't do on a sweater for myself because it does kind of read a little young to me, but it's super cute on a toddler sweater. I loved it. The yarn is amazing. It's extremely soft, and it's a sock yarn, but there's no way I'm gonna use mine to make socks. I do think I'll probably make a little cute pair of socks to match this at some point, and I'm also going to make a Plumeria mini with the remaining skein and a partial, which will be like for summer. But yeah, I loved it. It was great to work with. And in general, I just love Mountain Colors yarn. They have really interesting bases. So if you can get your hands on it, do. Okay, I think for knitting at least, that is my last finished project. So I do have one sewing finished project. My battery is beeping at me and that does not work for me. These are the Darcy boxers. These are going to be one of hopefully 4 pairs of boxers for my husband for Christmas. And they are full on Star Wars theme. I went to great lengths to get this Star Wars elastic. Yeah, I got it from Aubrey's Craft and Fabric in Australia. I don't remember what province, but they do not ship outside of Australia. And that posed a problem for me because I could not find Star Wars fabric or Star Wars elastic anywhere else, like waistband elastic. So I have a friend in Australia and I was like, if I have this sent to your house, can Did you just like, broop? So all the way muled from Australia for me is that elastic. Then I have this cool tag. I got a 4-pack of Star Wars themed tags from Intensely Distracted. Simone. Oh my God, they're so good, you guys. She has other ones, or I don't know, have other ones, and I am totally want to buy them, but like I don't make my husband that many clothes. And then this fabric is just from Joann's. This is just a character quilting cotton type thing. And some buttons from my stash. Button stash for the win. So this is the Darcy boxer. This is by Measure Twice Cut Once. It's a free pattern, you guys, and it's a copy shop, 1 page. So like $3 to print if you have a copy shop in your area. I just go to the local engineering place that does blueprints and all of that, and for me it's like, I don't know, not even $2.50 a page maybe. And they're wonderful. The guys in there are wonderful. They get a kick out of it. They have lots of people who sew who come in there and print. I'm super impressed with the pattern. It comes out really well. It has like a men's version and a women's version, although you could like totally interchange, and I have every intention to. I think the women's version is actually the one that has the elastic top, but whatever. The difference between the men's and the women's is whether or not the fly is functional. And then they each have a different waistband. But like I said, the waistbands are totally interchangeable. So obviously I did the functional waistband. This is the first time I've ever done a buttonhole on my machine, you guys. Look at that. Isn't that sexy? I mean, I knew it could do it, but I've never done it. I practiced it on a piece of scrap first and then called it good. So I'm very excited to be giving him these. I do have fabric for 2 more pairs, one of which will have the Star Wars band, and one of which I'm not going to put that on. It's going to be like a fold over cloth thing. And then I have the fabric for half of another pair. So we'll move into whips with this. And acquisitions. So I ordered this from Fussy Cuts Fabric. It was a custom print type thing that I ordered, and I waited for it to come in. This is I think a poplin, and I'm super excited to make a pair out of that. And then I bought, because I just could not find a 4th Star Wars print that I was in love with, I bought some Ruby Star Society quilting cotton in like a navy blue with these copper stars on it, because I figured it was still kind of like a celestial theme. This is the one that I'm just going to do a fold over waistband on because it's a little less Star Wars. And then I had tried to order this from Fussy Cuts as well. I love this fabric. I hunted everywhere for it. I didn't want the Mandalorian comics. I wanted the Star Wars. It's like a stretch cotton with a little bit of elastine in it, and I love it. Unfortunately, I ordered a yard, and by the time it got shipped to me, there was not a yard left. So they sent me half a yard and refunded me for the other half, which I get the impression that this is kind of common online. And it frustrates me. I don't feel like the automatic assumption should be, I will send them what I have and charge them for that. I feel like the automatic assumption should be, I'll email them and ask them what they want me to do. Because if I had been emailed and asked, I would have said, don't bother sending any of it, because I can't make a pair of boxers with a half a yard, and I can't get this fabric anywhere else. So now I'm stuck with a half a yard, and the only thing that I can think to do with it is to go buy a half a yard of stretch elastine black cotton and make one side comics and one side black, or make the front comics and the back black. And I'm not sure I'm in love with that idea. You do see boxers in the stores that have like a print on one side and nothing on the other, but it's usually a large print with like a single big icon or something. So I'm just not sure. And there is literally nothing I can make garment wise with a half a yard of fabric. And I don't quilt anymore, and I'm not going to get back into quilting. So, I mean, it was like $6. I'm not going to like send them an email and be like, why did you do this? Why didn't you message me even on Etsy? Because I didn't even get a message. I just got notified that I was getting a refund. And I was like, okay, maybe they're refunding me all of it. Nope, not happening. So that's my shopping for fabric online is a bitch rant for the day. Like, when you go shop at a garment fabric store online, like Mood or something, they usually give you a tick box because they're doing so many orders that says like, if we don't have all of your order, what would you prefer us to do? Send nothing and refund you, contact you, send what we have and charge you for that. I mean, something as simple as that. Or like, I guess on Etsy, if I'm buying fabric on Etsy, I need to make sure to enter in the comment field every time I order fabric, if the whole amount is not available, please just don't send it. But I feel like I shouldn't have to take that extra step to do that. And I will always buy my garment fabric online because I live in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. Even though I live in a larger town in Montana, it's still the middle of bumfuck nowhere. We do not have a garment fabric store short of Joann's. And, but we have like 3 quilting fabric stores. So on top of Joann's and on top of Hobby Lobby and on top of Michael's. So, that's how it is. We have one in the state, which is really amazing, which is the Confident Stitch. It's also like 6 or 8 hours away from me. Same thing, I ordered some really cool linen, or it looked really cool, linen from Europe online months and months ago, and it came and the color was absolutely not like how it looked online. And I understand that monitors look different, but this was very clearly a case of like they had photoshopped the picture. So you will understand then why when I ordered 3.5 yards of linen that someone gifted me the money to purchase to make my jumpsuit, and I had seen the linen in person beforehand, I was like, okay, I've already screwed this up once. And I'm gonna have to dye that linen to use it because it's flesh colored. It doesn't look good on me. I've seen this linen in person. I know what it looks like. It's good. I'm gonna order that. I ordered it. I opened it up, you guys, and it was flesh colored again. And I was like instantly just like, what is going on? And I pulled up the website and I looked at it and I was like, oh, they sent me the wrong color. They sent me chestnut instead of espresso. And like, it's really obvious, but you know, last time I tried to talk to somebody about this at a different company, it didn't go very well. And so I was ordering from Hawthorne Fabric and I took a picture and I was like, this is what I got. And I'm pretty sure that I may have received the wrong color because, you know, I've seen the fabric in person before and this is totally not the color that it was. And they were like, so nice, you guys. They emailed me back within an hour and a half, maybe less. And they were like, oh, we're so sorry. You very clearly did get the wrong kind. What would you like to do? Would you like us, we can refund you. If you want to send it back, we can exchange it. We can, no problem at all. And I was like, yeah, I'll be ordering from you guys again. So they were super great. I got a return label. I got it back to them. They got me my new linen sent out. No problem. Within like, I want to say like, certainly between Monday and Friday. Like I got it on Saturday. So I did get finally my espresso linen. So I get to make my, my Untitled Thoughts jumpsuit, the olive jumpsuit, the big one with the long legs. So I'm excited about that. Don't worry, that's all I got for sewing, if the sewing bothers you. Moving into whips for knitting in my a Tangled Skein CA. You can tell it's gotten dark, by the way. It's after 4. It gets dark at 4 here. My Tangled Skein CA bag. I have... This always comes out like so red bright. Arctic Sunset by Benta's Arctic Crafts, or Arctic Crafts by Benta. And this was my second Fleegle heel project. So it's just a vanilla sock with a Fleegle heel. I have one done. This is for my husband. And I need to get the other one done this week. We'll see if I do. If I don't, I will finish the other one for his birthday in January. But he's complaining that his feet are cold and even his wool socks are not warm enough. And it is cold here. So I did some alpaca socks on the toe and the heel, and I just made him a big old Fleegle heel. This is non-superwash Polldale, I think. I could be wrong. It could be Corriedale, but I think it's Polldale. So this is number 1. Can even put it on a sock blocker for you. Look at that. So that's a gift in it. I just need to get going on the second one. Thankfully, it's super fast because it's a vanilla with just a Fleegle heel. So that is one gift knit. Another gift knit, again, lacy. If you're watching, look away. This is in my Deli Q bag. This is, I love this yarn. I've had it in my stash for a couple years. One of my siblings got it for me for Christmas. It's Western Sky Knits. It's like this blue jean type color, but it's so soft. I don't know what the blend on it is, but I feel like it might be an MCN. I am making a Lumi sock, which is out of 52 weeks of socks. Cute little lace detail on the toe. This is for her wife. I have one done. And I'm working on the second one. My 52 weeks of socks is the paperback one. And I know that it has like a lot of errata, but this is the first pattern that I'm making out of it. And so far I'm really happy. I mean, I feel like I'll make 2 or 3 socks out of here. It would be a good deal. Like, I don't feel bad about it at all. But I would 100% buy more of this yarn. I adore it. I would make a sweater out of it. It's interesting that this yarn sat in my stash for so long because it's blue, and blue is not really my like go-to color. I don't dislike it. It's just not my go-to. And when I was digging through for like a tonal color to make those socks out of, the originals are in gray, and it's pretty close, and I was like, oh, is this gonna be feminine enough? Right? Because they were like, I want some feminine socks. And I really like wiffle waffled, but then once I got going and I got that lace in there, I was like, oh no, this is like perfect. So I'm super happy with them. I would totally make these socks again. Also, not a small foot. So I picked a pattern that had like a fancy lacy toe, a fancy new kind of heel, and a fancy cuff, and then just miles of stockinette in between because, I mean, let's be honest, I am gift knitting, so I am on a deadline. Okay, I have talked about it multiple times. I honestly am not sure if anything has changed on this since last time I podcasted. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, but my Alpenglue! just needs sleeves. I have tried it on. I do love it. I'm super glad that I altered the stitch count. It's got all these yarns that I love in it. There's stuff from Arctic Crafts by Benta in here. There's stuff from the Wheelbarrow in Ireland. There's the stuff that I dyed myself. There's some hand spun by Liz Ward. And I've blocked it so that I can try it on. And I'll show you. Ta-da! So it is a great fit. I do love it. I'm really glad, like I said, that I adjusted the front-back ratio. All my color work blocked out really nice, including my corrugated rib. It's not super soft. Like, it's definitely a bit, like, it's definitely rustic, but I don't feel like it's scratchy. Some things to me are scratchy or itchy, right? Like, mohair to me is itchy. This is like rough. Like, it's a little rough to your skin versus the other one's super soft, but it doesn't make my skin itch. So it'll be totally fine, which is good because I've never really had, other than my my Wheelbarrow Rust sweater, the Paiute pullover that I test knit for Anina Uni Knits. I think I got it right that time. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. I haven't really like made full garments in anything rustic, so I'm really happy with it. I just need to finish the sleeves. I will get there. I've been tempted to go back and pick it up because I know the sleeves will be super fast, but I have gift knitting that I'd rather get done. So again, this is the Alpenglue by Marysia Cardigan, loaded with yarns that I love. It is straight up dark outside, you guys. Straight up dark. Last but certainly not least, I was asked to test knit something and I could not say no. So this is the, I don't have much to show for it yet. Again, gift knitting. But I have until quite a ways after Christmas to finish it. So this is some Undercover Otter, and the gray is Detroit. I don't remember what this lighter green is. And then I have Haddonfield, which is a slightly darker, on their new base, Dusk, which is a yak nylon merino, and it is so good, you guys. Like, the colors are so dark. And then another yak nylon base green. I'm holding the Detroit with the greens double for DK weight to make this whoop gorgeous thing. Can you see that? So it's gonna have an attached collar. This is the Marysia, I think I said that right. Correct me if I'm wrong down there. Cardigan, you guys. I only have one cardigan and I love it. But I don't wear it all that often because the fit is just not perfect. I do like it and I do wear it a lot, but like, it was also the very first garment that I made and I didn't know a ton about fit yet. There's ways that I would have tinkered. So this is just gonna be this lovely little like green fade, from a lighter green to a medium green to a bright dark green. It is an all over, let's see if I can show you here. It's an all over faux cable cardigan. The stitch pattern is super easy to memorize. I won't lie, it is a little bit of like a You need to sit and think about this to get through the short rows with the faux cable pattern. But like once you're done with the short rows, it's easy peasy. Grab a row counter and just, it's, I forget, a 16 or an 18 row repeat, and you just like, it's very easy until you hit a certain number of ravelins. And that's where I am at right now. Now, it is a test knit, so I'm a little sad because I did the button band wrong, you guys. I mean, I did it the way that it was written, but the way that it was written wasn't the way that it visually looked in the pattern, and I didn't catch that. I was one of the first people going on this. And so my button band is not twisted stitches. And on the sample, it is. And the rest of the, like the collar and the cuffs and everything, that all is twisted stitches. And so I paused for a hot minute because I was like, oh, I gotta decide, do I wanna rip this back and start over with twisting the button band? In talking to people, I've decided that I don't. I think it will look fine. I don't think it'll be enough to bother me. And I'm super duper happy with it. I love the color. I love the like squishy texture of it. And I have some buttons from Amsterdam that I'm going to use for it. I haven't decided whether I'm going to use the pearly ones, or pearly silver, or if I'm going to use green ones yet. But now I'm just a little paused because I'm working on gift knits and I want to try and get in the mail before it's too late to get them there by Christmas. And then I will be right back on this because I am enjoying it. It's a very relaxing knit that can be quite mindless once you get past those short rows. And then I'm sure that I'll have to stop and think when I hit the sleeve separation in, you know, like however many more raglans that is. I'm a big girl, so it'll be a while. But I haven't made it there yet. This is living in my naughty knitting sacks, of course. This is for Vert and Rose. One of the reasons that I just could not resist test knitting this for Vert and Rose is that when you look at their Instagram, it's super body positive. And I just enjoy seeing clothing on people who are comfortable in their body at whatever size it is, whether that is thin or whether that is thick, whether that is tall or whether that is short. And I really appreciate designers that are making sure that they're being size inclusive when they design. And I know that one of the drawbacks of designing size inclusive is that it can be hard to find knitters to test knit in those upper sizes, right? And there's so much that goes into that. Part of it, I think, has to do with body image, and people who are looking for test knitters are looking for test knitters who are not just gonna knit the thing and tell them, like, was there a mistake or was this clear, but also who are gonna take pictures of the garment on their body, who are gonna then post them on social media for it to be seen. Because, and I've said this before, knit could have 1,000 makes, but if there's only one picture of a person in your size, it doesn't give you a really good idea how that's going to look on you, because maybe they are your size 7, but they don't have your body shape. Not every size 7 is the same shape. So designers are looking for somebody who's going to put that out there. And then, you know, knitters, if you're a bigger girl, you know, this took 6 skeins of yarn. That's not cheap. Even if you go for the cheapest yarn, right? Because this is a DK weight, and you guys know me, I don't typically have DK weight. I do not have enough DK weight sitting in my stash to knit this test knit. I looked, I was like, well, maybe I could ask for the yarn for it for Christmas, you know, just like a super economical, I don't know, like Encore, Galloway, or Cascade 220, or, you know, just a very like economical DK weight yarn. It would still have cost between $50 and $70 for me to have an economical DK weight yarn with any kind of wool content. off of like yarn.com or any of Knit Picks, any of the like more reasonable places. And so I was like, okay, well, you know, they did say that you could do fingering weight held doubles, so let me look and see what I've got for that. So I'm doing a fade because it's gonna take me that much yarn to make it. And I have multiple green fades in my stash, so it works. And I know that designers are gonna have a hard time designing larger sizes if nobody can test knit it in that. And I mean, if I was the size 1, it would only cost me, you know, I could buy 2 or 3 skeins of Cascade 220 and have a, I mean, I don't know if it's really that few for a size 1 in a DK weight, but like with fingering weight, there are skinny people out there who can get a sweater out of 2 or maybe 3 skeins of fingering weight. And when you're looking at a economical fingering weight that's maybe $8.50 per skein, that's like less than $30. Okay, most people, most of the time, could find a way to make that work for their budget, whether it's asking for it as a gift for Christmas or whatever, right? You can't just be like, hey fam, can I have $70 worth of yarn for Christmas? I mean, I did get $70 worth of yarn for Christmas. It's called an advent, but it was spaced out over much more time. So, I am likely to like jump into those things, I think, just because I know, you know, I want people to make them, and in order for them to make them, then there needs to be help from us too, right? So, all right. Moving along into acquisitions. I showed you the Haddonfield that I had on the desk base. Hayden is a lovely human. Absolutely lovely human. And they had a leftover from their Halloween box. You guys, this is all on that new desk base, and I do love it. It's mushy and squishy, and I like yak a lot. So, and of course I like the colors because it's Aiden and I just adore their dye style. So I said I wanted to knit a litmus cal. This is a possibility. It's not like a fade or anything like that, but it's still a possibility for a litmus cal for me. Because I want it near my face. The other option is that I might make a bunch of socks. These are each 20 grams, and it takes me 40 grams-ish to make a pair of shorties, 45. So I could totally pair like 2 that kind of go together, like that. And then use some other yak nylon that I have to do the toes and the heels, and have like 6 pairs of shorties out of that if I wanted. And I do need more socks for myself. Like I think I have like 8 pairs. That's not enough. I'm always making them for gifts, but I never make socks to keep for myself. And when I do, they're really plain. It's so funny to me. Okay, I don't think I had any other, oh, I lied. So, Lisa from Two Shapes reached out to me. If you don't follow Two Shapes on Instagram, you need to. It's just a fun little company that is out there trying to promote people and their yarns, mills and their yarns, designers and their patterns, and just spread the fiber love, I guess, is the best way that I can describe Two Shapes. They are there to spread the fiber love. And he's home again. We'll talk about it later. Oh my God, you guys. Let's get this wrapped up. This is now Tuesday. My husband came home again early because he decided to skip the gym because we got a big snowstorm and he didn't feel like doing it while it was snowing. I'm not sure what the two things have to do with each other, but that was his determination. I'm not even 100% sure where I left off yesterday, but I'm pretty sure I was talking about Two Shapes, which is this awesome company that just is there to promote all the goodness in the fiber community. you can look at their website, which I'll link below. Definitely follow them on Instagram because their Instagram is super fun. They're always showing off cool yarns from cool mills and cool dyers. And I'm not sure how many more times I can say cool, but you get the idea. It's like, they're there to promote the goodness in the fiber community is my best way of putting it. They're super inclusive. They stand for all the things that I love and I stand for, and that always makes me happy. So last year they did a fiber calendar that had, I think it was mill spun, like individual mill spun yarns, and a nice picture for every month. And then on that month, during that month, you could buy that yarn. This year they're doing it a little bit differently, and Lisa reached out to me to see if I wanted a calendar, which of course I do. Look at this. Try not to get a, boop, there we go. So this is their annual Two Sheeps calendar. This is the third time they've done it. The second one that I have seen. And this is celebrating the American West with unique hand-dyed yarn and knitwear designs this year. So let me give you a little tiny preview of, there's one in here that you know is my favorite because it's green. Of course. Of course. I mean, I really like that one too. But, you know I love the green one. I really like all of them. Ah, here it is. Okay, so it's September, and, oh my gosh, it's called Vineyard. Look at this. And so it's just this awesome calendar, and then on the back, they have a little chart that tells you the dyer of the yarn company. It gives you their Instagram account so you can go follow them. The designer of the pattern that was shown, and the design company, and then the designer's Instagram. So like I said, they're all about like promoting what is amazing in the fiber community. So in the case of the one that I'm in love with, Vineyard was by Fantasy Fiber Companies, and the socks are called Lavinia Socks, designed by Elise Lico, I think. I might be pronouncing that wrong. And so then they're also promoting this pattern here. You know I love a good sock. The other really great thing is that 100% of the profits from the pattern sales are donated to various nonprofits, and they let the designer choose what nonprofit it goes to. So it's never just a calendar, you guys. So you should check them out. They are selling these calendars already. You can get them for the new year. You can be prepared so you can stare at the pretty yarn that you want to buy ahead of time. And then you can go buy the pretty yarn and the pattern when the time comes. And like I said, they're super inclusive. Like all their stuff includes their statements on like anti-racism, pro-inclusion, and they're just not here for the nastiness in the world, and I love that. So they sent me a calendar and a little bookmark, which is awesome. Actually, I should be using this to mark my spot in my 52 Weeks of Socks book. I'm using something from Farmer's Daughters right now that's not technically a bookmark. And then they also sent me one and a bookmark to give away to you guys. So let's do a comment down below, and let's use the word sheeps. Tell me what your favorite thing about sheeps are. Yes, I'm aware it's not really plural, but I don't care. Tell me what your favorite thing about sheeps are, and make sure you put the word sheeps in there because that's what I use to pick from it, and then I will get this out to you before I'll mail it before the end of the year. I can't guarantee that I'll get there in time for New Year's because who knows with the Postal Service, but hopefully we'll try and get it there too, especially if you're in the US, it should get there too in time. So And then also, like I said, check them out. They have just such good vibes. The vibes are really jamming with me, and I appreciate that, because that's what this channel is for me, is an inclusive space where everybody is welcome, and we are here to just, I wouldn't say, I want to say ignore the badness in the world, but not. Just instead spread the goodness. You can't always ignore the bad, but you can choose to be positive. And so that's what I want to do. So comment down below, use the word sheeps. Tell me what your favorite thing about sheeps are. Tell me what your favorite sheeps breeds are. I don't care. Just talk to me about it. What else? It's so disjointed for me because I keep getting interrupted, and literally he's going to be home in an hour again. So other things that I've really been enjoying doing, I've had my Corner of Craft Advent again, and I just have to tell you, so if you have a Corner of Craft Advent and you haven't opened it at all this year and you don't want to be spoiled, look away, but I'm in love with this year's dice color. Look at this. It's going to be hard to show, but look at this. It's like a purpley maroon black swirl. Oh, love them. And what else? Not much else. I haven't really been like watching. I've been trying to keep up with Vlogmas. I'm not doing very well, admittedly. I'm a good like 6 days behind on a lot of people right now. It's like the 13th now. And I've made it through the first week of everybody, I think. I can't watch like everyone that I would want to, but I'm watching a lot. And I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, but I haven't been reading a lot. I just haven't had the brain space for it. Podcast-wise, I've been listening to Bad Women, which is super interesting if you are deep into the history of things. Sorry, my hands are really dry. Before I started recording, I had to run out and run an errand, and which is also why I'm a little out of breath. And it's now super cold and snowy, and we're in the middle of a storm. So, and I love this stuff. It smells like fresh peeled oranges. Tangent here. If you have a Lush near you, or even if you just want to go online, my good friend sent me, it's like a Christmas box of theirs, and it had this in there, and I'm in love with it. Anyway, as I was saying, Bad Women is, I'm listening to it on Spotify. It's a podcast about, it's true crime. So it's women who were murdered like in Britain during World War II, but by their own side. So essentially it focuses a lot on like, in the context of a bigger war, crime still happens, and a lot of time it's like forgotten to history because of the bigger context that was going on at the time. And so it's talking about, you know, during the blackout during London, the kind of crimes against women that were overlooked during that time. And their focus is hugely on the victims, which is what I like in my true crime, where they dig really deep and they start with like, where were these people born? How did they grow up? How did they end up where they're at? Maybe even when did their parents immigrate? It's a historian and a researcher who are doing it. They do some voiceovers, which I'm not huge on in podcasts, but it's not too much for me. And I'm super into like the really deep, rich, far history of it. So if you're really into that era historically, if you are really into just deep dive research, it's a good one. That, I think, is really all I have. I'm gonna wrap this up so that I can hustle up and try and sew a little bit of these boxers before he gets home. I have 3 days to get them done before he's off, and then the only time I can sew on them is at night after he goes to bed. And when he's off, he starts staying up later and later and later and later. So my like normal 5 hours that I'm up after him gets shorter and shorter and shorter. So I have got to get on it. I hope that you are all doing really well. I know the holidays are 50-50 on, you know, they can be a really fun time. They can also be a really depressing time. And let's be honest, this is not the holiday season for everyone, right? Like when we say, oh, the holiday season, like that makes an implication that you are part of either a certain set of religions or a religion at all, or that you celebrate Christmas in the way that like I celebrate Christmas, which is a secular holiday, I guess, a commercial holiday, and not everybody does that. So sometimes it's just the winter season can be really fun because it's beautiful outside and it's snowy and it looks gorgeous, but it can also be really depressing because you're, especially if you're in the north, not getting as much daylight, not getting outside as much because it's frozen outside. So I just hope that you're all doing well, and if you're not, reach out to somebody and talk to them. Just be like, hey, how are you today? And see what they say back, because having that human interaction can really help. Anyway, I will see you guys next time on my podcast. I can pretty much guarantee that it will not be before January. And I will announce the winner of the Two Sheeps calendar on my Instagram account. Let's say New Year's Eve. No, because I need to get it out by New Year's Eve. Let's say let's say 2 weeks from now. That'll be around about Christmas. I'll announce it then. Hopefully whoever wins can get back to me pretty quick, and I'll try and get it out before the end of the new year. Before the beginning of the new year. Wow, my brain. 'Tis fried. I hope that you're all having a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, whatever time zone you're in. Stay safe.